right, good day to you. My name is Fred Oakman, and as always with me today is Mr. Jake Peters. We are PS This Is Awesome, a PlayStation podcast. This is episode 333. This is a show where we share our feelings about the current state of PlayStation. But before we get on the show, I want to invite you to all subscribe to our channel. Go to youtube.com/PS This Is Awesome. If you want to make fun of our trophy list on the PlayStation Network, you can find me at anchorless_81 and Mr. Jake Peters at JakeSaw01. As always, you can write the show at psthisisawesome@gmail.com. And most importantly, don't forget to share the show with your friends. Make sure you leave comments, rate our podcast, jump on. It takes 2 seconds. Just say a little something on there. And help the algorithm help us. And as a reminder, like I said, we are a video podcast. You can watch our ugly mugs talk about video games if you want on our YouTube channel. And if you're new or if you're a longtime listener, I'm sorry you have to hear this every episode, but we got to promote ourselves because no one else is going to do it for us. We have a Patreon. You can support the show for $1 a month. It's the only Patreon tier we have. It's called the One and Only $1 Club. Go to patreon.com/PS This Is Awesome, and you can become a $1 patron of our show. 4 quarters a month. Get a free die-cut vinyl sticker. We'll read your questions first. We'll give you a shout out. It's about all we have to offer at this point. With that out of the way, Jake, how are you doing?
Fine. I gotta be honest. There's a real problem in the world of software and app development right now, and it's really making me insane. I was actually screaming at my television last night because we have this conversation at work all the time. They're fucking ruining everything. Windows is ruined, and everything is an app now. I got a coffee mug that allows me to maintain it, that like keeps my coffee warm or whatever. I have to have a fucking app to set the temperature on my coffee mug. I've got a fucking window air conditioning unit that I just want to set like a time to turn it on and off throughout the day. I've got to have an app for my air conditioning unit. I've got to have an app for everything. And then on top of that, the apps that they do give you are some cheap fucking sweatshop programmed bullshit from like India or China. I'm not trying to be racial or anything. That's literally where these things are developed. And I'm sure you've seen like these apps that you have to use for these trinkets that you buy that are like you can
your coffee
you can
pot
tell
apps.
You can tell that they're like an app that was some generic app that was made by some kid in a closet somewhere. Like it's not fancy.
Harry Potter made the app.
Yeah, there's like some freaking, some shit about it that makes no sense from an ergonomic standpoint. And like so like just to give you what tipped this whole thing off is, so this started, I was talking with someone at work who accidentally had their computer upgraded to Windows 11. And we are what you would consider, I guess, what most people would consider super users of computers, just because we constantly have to go in there, adjust settings and all this stuff in the back end to do all this shit that we do for work. And they just like change shit that doesn't need changed. Like when you hit Control Alt Delete on a fucking Windows computer, it brings up the task manager, shows you what apps are open.
Yeah, right.
And allows you to close them or whatever. They completely changed it. Now because everything is a web page, everything's a fucking app, it's all cloud-based, it runs super slow. I've got like a top-of-the-line computer, but my app runs like shit because it's based on the cloud. It's not based on the power of my computer. And then last night, while I was screaming at my fucking television, is because some weird shit happened where Sarah and I were watching Hulu. The new season of Shoresy is out, which if you guys like fucking comedies and hockey, that show is amazing. And I was having problems with my internet, so I restarted my PS5, and then I went to the Hulu app, and it was like you can't open this app on your PS5. It's a PS4 app. And I'm like, what the fuck? I literally just was running it. I just rebooted my PS5. And then so I had to delete the Hulu app, go on to the store, download the Hulu app again, because apparently somehow I had the PS4 app installed, even though it worked. Now it doesn't work. I don't know why. So, okay, whatever. I do this. I get it in there. I install it. I boot it up. Of course, I got to log back into Hulu. I reinstalled the app. Whatever. But they did this fucking thing that Disney Plus does and all these other fucking apps do that make me want to put a bullet in my brain. And that is, it comes up on my TV screen with a QR code and a fucking number, and it says, get your cell phone out, scan this QR code,
take a picture
go
of
to this
it,
website, put this fucking code in, and then sign in on the website, and then put this code in, and then it'll work on your PlayStation 5. And I'm like, fuck, just let me put my email and password in on the PlayStation. Why are you making me do 4 extra steps?
Right.
I'm sure they're like, oh, it's more convenient because you can use your cell phone to type in your username and password. You don't have to do it on a controller. And I'm like, that's fucking fantastic, but you should still give me the option on my PS5 to just use my controller to type in my username and password. What if I didn't have a fucking computer or a smartphone? I just can't log into Hulu anymore because I can't use this QR code to go to this fucking website. It's absolutely insane. This shit makes me... Ooh.
You just talking about it is freaking, like, getting me fired up. Dude, I don't know what to tell you.
Dave from work, we call him Clamps. Him and I, like, literally the other day were, like, in a shouting match about this. And we were agreeing with each other. It's just we were both so fired up about this shit that just happening across the industry, like across technology, not just like this specific instance, but like I said, with them like fucking ruining Windows 11, everything is cloud-based now, so you can't even like scratch your ass without having an internet connection. Like it's just and all of this, I'm convinced this is like the one conspiracy theorist in me thing that I'm going to bring out here is that I'm convinced that all of this is one, because it's cheaper and easier to develop and they can outsource it to freaking third world countries. And two, it's because now you have to have everything connected to the internet. They can gather all of your data for everything that you do and sell it to other people. I don't even think that it's necessarily like, oh, the government's spying on you. I think it's just literally every single app that you install is gathering data on what you use that app for, and they're selling it to somebody else. The company that made my air conditioner is using that app to tell what time of day I use my air conditioner, what temperature I like it, and they're going to fucking target me with ads in the wintertime that's like, do you want blankets? Do you want fucking a turtleneck? And like all this dumb shit. And it's like, can we just go back to the old days of door-to-door salesman? Like, I really would rather have the fucking Kirby guy at my door again than deal with this shit. And like every single website now, you have to go through some menu on whether or not you want cookies disabled or enabled, and do you want strictly necessary cookies? Do you only want us to take your firstborn child for all of your information? It's like, fuck, man. Like,
every time you install an app, it asks if you want to allow the app to track your activity while you're using it, all the time, or never. And if you select never, it doesn't fucking work.
It doesn't work. Yeah.
So you got to say, track my activity when I'm using the app. And then, like, if you have other fucking windows open or anything else open or any other data, text messages, whatever comes through, I think you're giving them permission to fucking snipe that stuff off your phone. And it's so annoying.
It'll be something fucking stupid, though. Like your coffee pot app will be like, we need to know your location. And it's like, why do you need to know my fucking location? You're my coffee pot.
Right.
But I digress. Sorry, I'm getting fired up. This is something that has been on my mind for a few weeks now, and the more I think about it, the more I want to just literally go completely off the grid and live like one of these fucking stealth camper guys in like the middle of a roundabout.
That is the
And
way
just
to
not
do
have
it.
any technology whatsoever. I'll recreate
Quit your
Uncharted
job,
with
just
fucking sticks and
yeah.
vines and shit.
Yeah, just go fucking bangarang or something. I don't know. Just go bonsai.
Yeah.
Boondock. What's that guy's
Anyway.
name? Crocodile Dundee. Go
And
buy
I
you
don't know.
Billy.
Yeah. So that's how I'm doing. I mean, otherwise, weather's beautiful. Can't complain about that. I'm glad that it's like kind of warm again. It's not. It's a little spicy. The sun's a little spicy today, but like, it's not super muggy. Like you can stand outside and not feel too awful bad. Where like last week, where it was freaking 1,000% humidity and storming every fucking day, and dude, Sunday I was doing a bunch of shit around the house. Like we're remodeling a room in our house right now, so we got like a dumpster, and we've been doing all this freaking demolition and shit, and like. So I was like outside and like in and out of the house and doing all this shit all day Sunday. It was like 62 degrees here on Sunday.
It was chilly.
Which is weird. But because I was working so hard, I didn't really mind.
It's actually pretty status quo for fucking the temperature just fluctuates all the time. So there is no
Hurricane Byram coming through. What the hell is that name? I don't know. The Weather Channel was telling me that Byram is the hurricane right now. Sorry, Beryl. Even worse.
Hurricane Beryl.
Beryl.
That's actually kind of cool.
Beryl, like Beryl.
Oh,
not
that's
like
weird.
the freaking not like the
Donkey
the
Kong.
freaking pharmaceutical company or the object you store liquid in. Anyway, let's move on.
Well, I'll give you a quick rundown. I've been super just stressed out for all kinds of reasons, but we are doing really well at golf, which is crazy.
Still winning?
Yeah, we're still in first. Guys are just giving us a hard fucking time. We beat a kid in this other guy. This kid, their handicap was like 1 or 2 or something. Like they're really fucking good. They're almost scratch golfers. The kid is he was off, and he had an opportunity to be a professional golfer. Apparently, I'm not gonna say his name because confidential or whatever. But like, you probably may have heard of him, and he's fucking fun to watch. He's so good. But we play. Our handicap is so bad. Like it's if anyone knows anything about golf, like it's much more likely that if we just play golf the way two normal people who like to play golf play, we're way better than our handicap. So like if we're just playing as like a regular group, we're fucking dominating. So like we have to, like I've gotten really good. My dad sucks, but he's been coming around. So like our handicap's not super accurate, and they do adjust it. They slide it around and stuff throughout the progress of the league. But we played these guys, and I was like, man, if anyone beats, it's gonna be these guys because these guys are fucking great. And yeah, we beat them. And we're playing heads up golf too. So to be fair, I think the guy I was playing was the younger kid. I think his handicap was like 2, and I think mine was like 5.5 or something. So I've been golfing pretty good myself, but I got longest putt, so I got another prize. No business for a bogey, longest putt. I'm gonna win money, and my dad got a birdie on a hole that he got 2 strokes off of because his handicap. So he's going to get a handicap skin for a hole-in-one. They're getting so pissed off at us. They're like, so they know it's a handicap league, and like the handicap skin does not take money away from the straight skins. But like, so anyone who has a handicap, we're all in using handicaps for one set of skins and then regular skins for the rest of the skins. But yeah, so, and my dad being the guy that he is, he knows the other guy that we were playing. He's kind of a... He's a complainer by nature, the guy, you know what I mean? And my dad goes, so do you think do you think I get my name in the paper for that? Just cracking a joke. And the guy goes, you really want your fucking name in a paper for a birdie? And he was like, technically it was a 1, you know, just trying to make the guy laugh. And the guy was getting really butthurt because we were kicking their asses. And he's like, listen, it's so much easier for you guys to have a good day than us because our good day is our regular day. So we have to have exceptional days to beat a team like you. And my dad was like, well, this is a handicap league. You can always join another league. And he goes, you know, because he's totally right. You can just fucking get in another league if you want to take it that serious. You don't join a league like ours and take it serious. I think if you come in first, I'm not even kidding, at the end of the league, it's like a $20 cash prize. That's all it is, in bragging rights. It's like nothing. You win more money every week by like getting skins or closest to the pin. We've been really lucky. Like I said, I chipped like a 90-yard chip in for an eagle, won like $90 on that. Like I just had the longest putt. That'll be like another 40. He and I had the closest to the pin on a hole. We shouldn't have. Just lucky fucking shots. Like we've probably made like $250 this season and just stupid prizes.
Dude, I play beer league hockey, so I know all about grown ass toddlers.
It's so frustrating.
Believe it.
Yeah,
and hockey can probably be even worse sometimes because there's a physical like element to it,
right.
Where it's like guys get fired up and getting banged around and shit. But dude, golf is such a mind game though that like I think I would say that it's probably a lot easier where it might not be quite as easy to get in someone's head in golf because, you know, you're not as in each other's face really. But once you're in there, like, dude, if someone's in your mind, they fuck your whole game up. Like it's over. Yeah. When you're just taking divots and doing all this other shit. So,
and you're sweating and you're trying to like, just like not chunk it. And it's just like, that's all you can think about is like, don't do this. And then you do it, you pull it, you slice it.
But that's what it's all about is just like
composure.
You just don't take it so seriously. You know, I mean, it's like you said, I mean, it's not like you guys you're probably not paying thousands of dollars to be there. It's not like there's some huge cash prize or a fucking giant trophy it's not like you're going to be on the front page of the paper or like it's just, I mean, to be fair, like there is something to be said. Part of the reason why I like playing hockey is because I like being a part of a team and I like having a little bit of that competition in my life as an adult and getting the exercise and all of that. So there's nothing wrong with healthy competition in a league like that, but you don't have to be all butthurt about it either. Right. Like there is a line there.
Yeah, for sure.
You can celebrate somebody else's victory. And it's just I think your situation is probably just a little bit more, it probably stings a little bit more just because you just so happen to be currently playing better than your handicap.
Oh, people are getting really fired up. Yeah. Because, you know.
And so like, and handicaps inherently are kind of bullshit. And I don't mean that in like, you guys shouldn't have one. I'm just saying like, it's just like the way that it's designed is so that everybody can play together. And so because you guys are playing against scratch golfers, they just give you fucking 5 points around.
Right.
Just for whatever because of your first 3 games of the year or whatever it was. So
well, the other thing is too, like handicaps in golf. When you're a very capable golfer like myself, I can swing the fucking club. I can fucking chip. I can putt. I'm not consistent is the thing. So it just depends on if I'm stringing shit together or not. So to have a handicap that reflects like, fuck, you know, I might have had a fucking killer drive, almost drove the fucking green. I'm 100 yards out, and then it takes me 4 strokes to get it in the hole from there. A bad chip, another bad chip, and then 2-putt. Then you get a 5. You were almost on the green in one swing. So it's like I've got the skills, but when I'm fucking tying it together, I can get pretty dangerous out there. And it is on purpose. I'm always trying to be good and do good. But like my dad, man, he's the king of screwing up iron shots. He can't hit an iron shot to save his life. Well, on Monday, oh yeah, he hitting them nice and flush. Just they're fucking sailing. They're going right where he wants them. He would, for some reason too, like he can't. I bought him like a 50, I don't know, like a 57 or something degree wedge or whatever, just for like within 100 yards, just so I could like lob him on there and try to learn how to. And he can't fucking use it. He uses his pitching wedge no matter what, and half the time he doesn't hit it right. But he has adjusted his play like a guy who always slices a ball. They hit it way to the left because they know what's going to happen. Like my dad knows that he's not going to make good contact, so he swings the club a little differently, and he'll just fucking worm burn a ball 80 yards onto the green, like real close to the pin, and it looks like shit, but like he meant to do that. It just didn't look good, and it looked like he messed up because like he's just such a bad golfer. He's learned to use the tools that he has, and everyone watches him play, and they're just like, God damn, this guy's so lucky because it looks like luck. But anyways, I don't know. It's fun to do. We're having fun doing it, and we're still in first place. Happy to report, which is awesome. We're a great team.
Hey, man, that's what it's all about. Spending time with your dad, getting out there, doing something, getting some exercise.
Yeah, we'll be able to look back and be like, remember that year we took everybody to fucking town? It's going to be great.
Oh, yeah.
What the hell else happened? I don't know. I guess I don't have a lot of news, I guess. But what was... I will bring this up real quick. Advanced Hero Quest. I talk about Hero Quest a lot. We still do our Hero Quest nights. Advanced Hero Quest is exactly as it sounds. It's a tabletop dungeon crawler that essentially it's like Darkest. You're probably gonna fucking die. Like it's possible. It's very, very Hero Quest. Maybe not so much, but very, very possible that you're gonna die playing Advanced Hero Quest. The roles are definitely more complex. You get magic casters using different I don't know, schools. Like think about like The Witcher, like the bear school or whatever. You have like bright wizards and you have fucking amethyst wizards, and like you create a character and they get their own spell book, and you have to have components to cast the spells. Your elves have so many limited arrows. There's like death zones that like when you enter like an enemy's zone where they could hit you have to stop. Intricate kind of rules. And then there's always like travel to and from the dungeons you can run into bandits and stuff. So anyways, long story short, I got Advanced Hero Quest when I was a kid. So I had no fucking clue how to play this game. I was like, Hero Quest, more Hero Quest? Yeah, let's get it. And I remember paying like $75 for this game when it came out. It's a Games Workshop game. It's old school. And the main campaign that came with it is all Skaven based. Skaven are like rat men, for those who don't know. They're like the rat creatures. They attack in hordes. They're they use like a magic called like warp stones, and they're like these green energy things that they draw from. The magicians cast warp magic, and then they have these they're kind of like flamethrowers, but they're like warp fire teams. They're pretty cool. Long story short, if I can make it any shorter, I will. I didn't know how to play the fucking game. And the Advanced Hero Quest game system only came with one version of Skaven, because this is the oldest trick in the book that Games Workshop always used to do, and they still do, is they sell you something like, well, you can use these cardboard things that come with the game, or just use all of the same mini that we gave you, just give them a different base. That way, that one's like the Night Stalker, this one's the Assassin, this one's the Sentry. Or you can buy the minis from us. And actually have them for your game, which is of course what you would want to do. But I never learned how to play this game, and I found my old copy, and I've been reading through it. And there's a really great group of people still supporting the game, and they made essentially like a second edition of the game, like the fans, to make it more streamlined, to make it work better, to make it cool. And it's like you use a lot of matrices to randomly generate the dungeons. So it's all dice rolls, whether the passageway is 2-3 tiles, whether there's doors, whether there's not. But so generally, like, you have a quest, you have a mission. Once you get to a certain set of stairs, once you're able to populate those stairs, then you go into like a prefabricated dungeon that the game master comes up with, and you find your target and you find the thing, and then shit goes loose. But getting there is kind of fun because you can find rooms, treasures. You can have random things that happen based on dice rolls. It's really fucking rad. And it's like one of the most thought out tabletop dungeon crawlers because it still is an exploration game. It's not like Descent where the whole board is out in front of you to say it at once. It's not like anything I've ever played. And man, I am the second edition of the rule set, all free to download. I downloaded it, and I also downloaded all these quests and campaigns for it, and I sent a job off to Staples to bind it and make me a new set of rules for this game. And so this is going to be my like winter project probably. So for those who don't follow Games Workshop or Warhammer shit or whatever, they are like D&D have different versions. They have now come out with the 4th edition of Age of Sigmar, which is like the tabletop wargaming shit for, it's not Warhammer 40K. This is like kind of like the old Hammer stuff, like maybe not all, but Skaven are part of it, right? So very seldom do Games Workshop release a huge box full of shit that you can buy. It's not cheap. It's not cheap, trust me. But if you were to buy all these miniatures individually from Games Workshop, this box has over like $1,000 worth of shit in it. They were selling it for like a little over $200. So it came with like 70 or 80 Skaven. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, I'm just now getting my fucking Advanced Hero Quest, which is an old Games Workshop game, and they've released all these new Skaven miniatures, these Skaven ogres, these fucking Skaven sorcerers. I'm like, oh, this is fucking perfect. So I'm excited. I pre-ordered it, and there's also a mini game inside there called Spearhead, which gets you into Age of Sigmar if something you're interested in, and it can be one-on-one. So everything I need to learn how to play Age of Sigmar 4th edition is in there. And my buddy Mike Fritz, who does all the artwork for my band stuff, he did this koozie. He's a really big nerd, and he got it as well. So there's 2 factions. There's like the Skaven, and then there's the Stormcast, which are like these winged protectors that are all fucking armored up with swords and shit, and they're pretty badass. But this box comes with 2 really big books. It's got instructions and lore and shit and all this other stuff. And it comes from Scatter, and you get all these things, and it's fucking rad. So I pulled the trigger. I treated myself recently to that. I don't have it. It hasn't come out yet, but I cannot wait to get all these Skaven. And I'm so stoked. I don't know. You can do Advanced Hero Quest solo, but my Hero Quest group will definitely dive into this. It's going to be fucking dope. I'm stoked on it.
That's cool.
That's all I have to say.
A lot of shit to paint.
Yeah, I've got more than I can paint already, and no fucking time to do it. But I'm thinking about getting one of those mini airbrushes. I think that would be kind of cool. Speed things up. You seen guys paint like miniatures with those airbrushes?
No.
Yeah, it's a really quick and effective way of doing things. Anyways, every show we talk about games that we're playing, and this episode will be no different than the other ones. Jake, you might be looking at the notes right now, and you might see something on here that maybe you didn't think you'd see, but you were talking about the Wolfenstein games and stuff, and I realized that Youngblood was on there for the not essentials, maybe the other one. Extra, yeah. So I downloaded it, and I'm not gonna lie, didn't do it for me. I know this is one of the Wolfenstein games that like didn't really review super well, and
yeah, I think it was the only one that didn't really review well.
It's like
it was made by Arcane. It wasn't made by Machine Games.
It's a little too open world for me. Like I didn't understand it. Like I got into it, and then it's just like, okay, go figure out what you need to do. And everywhere I put it on easy, everywhere I went, I just got fucking trounced. The one point they were like, "Oh, you're gonna have to do a lot of fighting before you can go there," and I'm like, "Well, where the fuck am I supposed to do? What's my mission?" And like it was just really confusing. So I pushed and I pushed and I pushed, and I got into this place that I don't think I should have. I was way under leveled to do. Finally got in, and then like the game saved, and then I couldn't get out, and I just kept getting killed. And I was like, "This fucking sucks." Like, I don't know. It was annoying.
Yeah, I've heard there are some save traps like that in that game where you're just kind of fucked unless you get lucky.
So I'm deleting
which
it.
is shitty.
Yeah, and I did play a little more Dave the Diver, which I'm enjoying, and then I did the Hero Quest group that stayed on Sunday a little bit later. We did do a little couch co-op Streets of Rage 4 as a reminder, because I want to platinum that game. I don't know, I want to fucking do it. It's Streets of Rage 4 is fucking, it's a gem. It is a gem of a game if you haven't played it. So it's so good. But that's what I've been playing. I'm waiting for Darkest Dungeon 2 to come out. I think July 15th. So I'm going to be talking about that right around the bend here, guys. So just hang tight. I'll have some shit to talk about for sure soon. But Jake, what about you? What are you playing?
Nothing. I'm still playing Doom Eternal, but I haven't really been playing that much this past week just because we've been busy working on the room that we're remodeling. So it's still really good. It's hard. It's very hard. And I like that about it, because when you're owning, it feels so good because the game's so fast and kinetic, and you're running around and just wrecking dudes, and you feel like a boss. But when you're not getting it right, it just feels overwhelming because of how fast and everything. It's like you're on a knife's edge the whole time, and I think it's great. But what's crazy is that I'm only on like what you would consider the normal difficulty, which is, I think, Hurt Me Plenty or something like that. But it's difficulty 2 out of 4. So there's 2 more difficulties above what I'm playing on right now. And I already think that it's like I haven't had to drop the difficulty or anything. I'm still able to get through it. But like where I'm at now, if I imagined being like the encounters that I'm coming into, if I imagined trying to do that at the beginning of the game, it would be fucking impossible. Now you get extra weapons and things. But one of the things I'm trying to remember is that you unlock all these cheat codes throughout the game. They're like secrets that you can find. And you can go back through and find replay the missions and find all the secrets and stuff with all of these cheat codes enabled. So if I ever do decide to go back through and like find all the secrets and stuff, I can just do mission select and just turn on infinite lives and stuff like that, and IDKFA and all this crap, and just blitz through things, which is a fun way to play the game in its own right. But I did realize that I was thinking man, maybe I was like, why did I never consider getting the platinum in this game? Because people who've been listening for a while might remember I got the platinum in Doom 2016. And I realized, I was looking at the trophies yesterday, the reason why I never even tried is because there's 5 or 10 multiplayer trophies, and they're not just play a couple rounds. They're get 5 kills with each weapon type in multiplayer mode, and shit that would, if the servers aren't totally full and I wasn't fucking willing to play for weeks to do this, maybe it would only take a couple weeks, I don't know, but I'm just not interested. It's just kind of a bummer because I think it would be awesome to be able to get the platinum in this. I wish that there was a way. I know this kind of defeats the point of it, but I wish that there was like an option. Like I wish that they would almost make for games like single player focused games. There should be no multiplayer trophies for the platinum, unless it's like just because.
Excuse me.
Servers can be shut down. Basically, makes the trophies impossible to get. But like, I can understand if you want to have a trophy in there that's like try every multiplayer mode. It's like, okay, like I'll jump into multiplayer and try like one of each game type just to see it and like figure it out or whatever, and you can give me a trophy for that. But like all these ones that are like get 500 kills in multiplayer and like it's like, come on. Like this is freaking, whatever. Like The Last of Us, for example, I got the platinum in The Last of Us. And it just so happened to be that the multiplayer, the survivor mode in The Last of Us, the multiplayer was just happened to be the only multiplayer mode that was good enough to hold my attention for 40 hours. But I would have been so bummed that such a single player experience, the platinum would have been locked out because of a freaking multiplayer mode. So I'm not like the biggest trophy whore out there, but this is a game that I enjoy playing, and like I could see myself going back in and like trying to get all the secrets and like all this stuff and do all of the Doom gates, the Slayer gates and all this shit. But like I'm not gonna play the multiplayer mode, so there's like no point in me even trying to get the other trophies, which is unfortunate. But I'm probably gonna be done with that. I've been looking at a couple of different games that I might want to try after this. I don't know, man. There's not really anything right now or coming out soon that I really have any interest in playing. So I'm just kind of bouncing around on shit. So if there's any, if anybody has any suggestions, I was actually thinking about maybe going back and playing like Ratchet and Clank again or something like that. We were talking the other day about maybe like revisiting the original Uncharted trilogy or something, just to like. Something that's a little bit more lighthearted, that's a little less stressful to play, a little bit more story focused. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna play next, but for now, I'm playing Doom.
Very good. Very good. Well,
and I'm also playing a crossword puzzle game on my phone when I'm in the bathroom, if that counts.
Yeah, it does. That's good.
Make sure you put that in the notes.
It'll show up on the AI generated podcast
Subtitles.
Yeah. So I already told you before the show, Jake, that One Black Talon was trying to reach out to you. He thanked you. He thanked you for episode 331. First off,
he thanked me for that.
Yeah, on YouTube
for doing it by myself.
Yeah, he said.
Yeah, I appreciate that because I did enjoy it. To be honest, I did really enjoy doing it. It was it was different, but I did enjoy doing it. And I promise I will friend you on whatever, fucking PSN whenever I get back down to my PlayStation 5. Because to be completely honest, I never check my friend requests. So for all I know, like 25 people have tried to request me on PSN, and that's my bad, and I'm sorry. So if you're a listener out there and you tried to friend request me and I didn't accept it,
take it personally.
That's why. And feel free to write into the show and say, "Yo, why didn't you request me?"
This is my handle.
Or accept it. Yeah, because I am really bad about it. Because I'm gonna be honest, part of it is like, I don't know if you noticed this actually started in the late PS3 generation. Spam accounts.
Oh, yeah.
Like really bad. Like some of them are just like obviously spam accounts because the avatar is like a fucking pair of tits or something. But like it'll be like some name that's just random letters and numbers and like no personal message or anything like that. And I'm just like, or the personal message will be like, Jigsaw, I want a game with you. Let's be friends, or like something like that, where it's just like, okay, this is not a person. And so I've kind of been a little bit jaded by that. So
let's have fun together.
Afraid.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't be afraid to let me know if I'm ignoring your requests, and I'll get on that.
Sometimes listeners will actually write in like, "Hey, I like the podcast," you know, and then I just know.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, I'll add that person.
Right.
But
for sure.
If you want to add us again, I blow through it at the beginning. I'm anchorless_81, and Jake is Jakesaw01, JAKESAW01. But thanks, One Black Talon, and he will be adding you on there, so I do appreciate that. We did have someone write in briefly. I was putting up these shorts for a while on YouTube, just trying to generate some content, some views a while back. It worked. Some of these videos still get comments. Now, this isn't a listener of the show, but somebody commented on a YouTube video of ours, and I was going off about how Final Fantasy Tactics is amazing, but I get confused about what one it is. And then this person writes in, it is part of the Ivalis Alliance, which is a universe within the Final Fantasy expanded universe, which Matsuno created. So it has no relations to Final Fantasy V, but it is, in fact, a story linked of Final Fantasy XII. I don't understand any of what the fuck this guy's talking about, but okay.
Do you want to say who commented, or...
Vora the Siegfried 8048.
Yeah, so
thank you for writing.
The Final Fantasy lore, like and you maybe have a similar mindset, but for me it's just like, with the exception of things like Chocobo and stuff like that, I personally absorb each Final Fantasy game as a completely unique world, unique universe, unique everything. There's nothing that is shared between games, because I know that there's some deeper crossover than some of like the imagery and scenery and stuff. But it's like people say that there's a lot of early Final Fantasy 4 or 5-ish inspiration in Final Fantasy 16. It's like, okay, I don't know. I got to take Final Fantasy 16 as its own story, because it's complicated enough as it is. I can't be going back and playing Final Fantasy 1 through fucking 15 before I get to this. So, and it's similar in like games like Persona, where it's like, okay, yeah, there is the Velvet Room or whatever the fuck they call it in every one. There is a couple of different things, like the enemies, some of them are the same and stuff. Same with Dragon Quest. But it's cool. Like, I didn't know that the Tactics was tied to any particular game, but if it is linked to Final Fantasy 12, that's interesting. I never played Final Fantasy 12. It came out at a really weird time for me with regard to video games. So, because I was like getting into college and stuff, and I was just not really playing games at the time. But it's cool that dude, I love like the YouTube videos that people make where they do deep dives talking about some of these like in-depth lore and stuff. I've actually been thinking about looking up a video to see if there's anyone online that did a deep dive on the Doom lore with the remake and Doom Eternal, because the new game's coming out in probably a year, and there's a lot of lore actually that you can read throughout the game, and I don't want to. That game is so kinetic and fast paced. Like, I don't want to stop for 5 minutes and read a fucking text message. I just want to keep blasting demons.
Yeah, it's too much. It's too much shit.
Anyway, but yeah, I do like this this lore stuff. So thanks for the writing.
Yes, thank you for writing. Jake is freaking out right now. He just stood up and he's doing something with a moth or something.
Turning my fan on. I'm getting all sweaty.
All right, so we don't have a whole lot of news this week to go over. We are going to go over some news points real quick for everybody, and then we're going to wrap things up. It is Tuesday. We're recording this. Our episode airs every Wednesday for everybody. If you're a patron of the show, we do try to upload the show prior to Wednesday for you. Sometimes we can. Sometimes we can. Sometimes we can't. But we're doing it today, Tuesday. So you're probably all going to get this fucking episode around the same time. So be it. We do appreciate our patrons, though. First news point. Concord. The shooter that was not very impressive that I just, that they kind of gave us some gameplay stuff on. It has an early access beta launching July 12th through July 14th. And then an open beta on July 18th to July 21st. Now, the developer for the game did confirm that monetization for this game is only going to be for cosmetics. It will not be a pay-to-win situation. So that's nice to hear. So that being said, Jake, what do you think about this? Are you going to jump into the open beta?
The open beta I might try just because there's so much. This is a first-party game, and there's something kind of interesting about that. But like with all these games, I say I'm going to try them and I never do. Like, for example, I downloaded the finals because I thought it looked really cool. And it was installed on my PlayStation for like 3 months and I never played it. So I just uninstalled it. So, but because it's a beta and it's time limited and it's, just a weekend or whatever, I would like to, assuming it doesn't slip by me in any way.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, I don't know that I'm going to. It just didn't look like it was anything for me, man. Well, so why don't you try it, and then you can report on it. I'll be playing Darkest Dungeon on the 15th. So I want nothing to do with the open beta of Concord.
There you go.
So the new, every month we get free PlayStation games. If you're an Essential member, if you're not an Essential Plus subscriber, you got to really rethink your priorities and where you're spending your money. Number one, $1 to us. And then, whatever it costs to be an Essentials member to PlayStation. And then you're good. You're set. Every month. But the new July games have been announced. Borderlands 3, which I haven't played. I really want to play this game. I haven't played it. And
I was thinking that too.
NHL 24 and Among Us. It's a good list.
Yeah, I think that it's a great list. I know, a lot of people are going to roll their eyes at NHL 24, but, it's a big game amongst hockey fans, especially. I guess probably the one thing that you could say is that most people who are interested in NHL 24 probably already have it because that's their game. But if you have if you're like me and you love hockey, but you're kind of meh on hockey video games, I'll take this any day of the week because I'm not going to fucking buy one. But if you're going to give me one for free, I'll play a season or two and for maybe 10 hours or so just to ramp myself up for next hockey season. And then I'll put it away and never play it again. And it's cool. It's cool that we're getting it. And it's obviously it's coming at probably a cheap time for them because the Stanley Cup final just wrapped up. So there's no professional hockey on right now. The new game's coming out in a couple months. So there's really probably no urgency for this game at the moment other than streamers and guys that are really playing it all the time. Among Us, I don't know. This game passed me by. I have no interest in it.
I think Among Us VR could be cool.
It could be, yeah. But Borderlands 3, like you said, I heard this game is pretty good, and I loved Borderlands 2. So I would definitely be interested in trying this one out. Maybe this will be my next game. I don't know. It sounds. I was thinking about playing something other than a shooter, but because I'm playing Doom right now, but I know this is more of an RPG, and it's a little bit more colorful and open, and I don't know, the more I'm talking about it, the more I kind of maybe want to play it. So I'm glad we're getting these games. I think it's a good month.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Let's go on to the new news point. We talked briefly last episode about the PlayStation Stars loyalty program being down with no resolve in sight. It's apparently returning soon via a phased regional rollout. They say if you click on the loyalty thing, users are getting this message coming back in a phased rollout. I click on it and it still just doesn't work. So I don't know what's going on with this, but I have throughout the history of the show been an advocate for this loyalty program for the mere sake that you can get online PSN credit for your purchases. You rack up points and the points can be spent towards PSN wallet cache or whatever. So it's a nice way. I don't know, if you don't pay attention, if you're signed up to it and you don't pay attention to it, like, and you make some purchase on the PSN, go check it out, because you probably have enough money to buy like not money, but credit to get $5 to $15 worth of PSN store cash. I don't know. Just all you got to do is be a member.
Do you think that maybe there was like a... like, it seems kind of bizarre to me that... like, they're almost acting like there was more of a serious problem here. That they're only, like, they're, like, rolling it out slowly and, like, seeing what happens. Like, it's not just... and it's been down for a couple weeks. Like, it's not just that, oh, there's a bug, let's take it down and fix it. It's like, oh, maybe they found, like, a security breach or, like,
It's possible.
You know, like... or maybe not necessarily that they were hacked, but they found maybe a vulnerability that they need to fix or something like that. Or, yeah, I don't know. Like, this is really weird.
Yeah, and not a lot of people are talking about it. The other thing is that I think is interesting is I googled PlayStation Stars, and it took me to the PlayStation Stars site. And it does say right there, it has like a little megaphone. It says, PlayStation Stars will be returning soon in phased regional rollouts. Thank you for your patience, and we look forward to welcoming you back. So it doesn't really say anything else about it. So maybe they're just redesigning it and overhauling the way it works. I mean, it might not be anything super serious, but you would think they would have announced that they're taking it down to do these things. So it almost seems like it wasn't anticipated. You know, it wasn't a planned outage, but who knows?
Right.
That's the only thing that makes me be a little questionable about it. Capcom, Jake, this is good news. Not surprising news, because Capcom has been on fire with the Resident Evil titles. But they indicated they're actively developing a new Resident Evil title, and it's presumably the sequel to Village. They came out and they said that, like, they weren't really sure where they were going to take this. And then I believe whoever was working on it, this is not a direct quote, but the impression I got from reading this article on Push Square was that they were like, wow, you know, it's going to be pretty substantial where this thing goes. So they have something, and that might just be, I don't know, lip service to the series or to get the fans excited. But it sounds like, you know, Capcom right now seem to be making the right decisions with a lot of the Resident Evil stuff. And I don't think they would willy-nilly just throw a game out there. Village was great. 7 was fantastic. All the remakes have been fantastic. The VR shit has been so good. If you're a Resident Evil fan, like, I can't even imagine. Like if like you are like diehard Resident Evil, like, whew, you're living in good times right now, because Capcom is rolling out the red carpet for you. They're giving you the full fucking treatment, you know? So I don't know. Jake, what do you think about this?
I gotta be honest. I just hope, like, so what could this be if it's a sequel to Village? Would it be because 7, like 8 is a sequel to 7. Like, you play as the same character. But they kind of make it seem like, well, the sequel to 8, what are you going to play as Rose? And if you play as Rose, I think when you play as Rose in the DLC, it's all third person, is it not? So I hope that it's first person still. Because I love the perspective shift with the new games. I think it's fucking rad.
Yeah, first person.
If you want to give people the option to play in first or third person, I can jive with that. But I think that the game should be developed with first person in mind, because those last two games in 7, which I think they called Biohazard, and 8, which is Village, like,
yeah.
It's like a renaissance for this fucking series. So, and it kicked off the whole remake craze with 2 and 3 and 4. And I guess presumably now maybe like 0 or Code Veronica. And so, and also, like, dude, I know that VR is like dead, but man, you want to see a PSVR 2 port of the next Resident Evil game as well. Because 4 and Village are so fucking good that
7's really good too, but I think those two are better.
yeah, I mean, it's just I just think that like the way that 7 was delivered, it's not the same. Like they like 7 was like,
It'll still be my baby because it popped my cherry.
Well, I get it, but like 7 was like, oh, we can do this, and then Village was like, oh, in a matter of one game, we fucking mastered it.
Oh yeah.
And like dude, I held off on this game for so long, and I didn't even want to play it in VR, but I just fucking tried it. And when you get all of the motions down and you're unloading or you're reloading and doing all this shit on the fly, and it's scary, but when you get kind of rolling, you feel like a fucking boss, and it's awesome. Like you're really shooting these things, and just the immersion of the VR2 is so good. Plus, if you like, I was wearing the Pulse headset while I was playing too, which really helped out. And so, yeah, I'm excited about this. I am just curious about the direction that they're going to take the next mainline game. If it's going to be with Rose, which I think kind of. I mean, I don't know. I didn't play the DLC for Village with her, so I don't know if they resolve any of her story arc within that DLC. But if they didn't, and the next is just going to be a continuation of her story, then I hope that they find a way to integrate her special abilities, let's say, with a first-person perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And also that baller-ass gun combat that they had in VR2.
So good. So good. Yeah, I'm excited about this. This is good news. I'm not surprised, but I am excited for it. Now, speaking of VR2, Jake, the next news point is surprising. I didn't know that this was a thing. I didn't even know they were doing it. Do you remember that rhythm shooting game that came out called Metal Hellsinger?
Oh, yeah.
Apparently, it's coming to VR2 this fall.
That's rad. I say that's rad cautiously, optimistically, because I think if they are able to land this, it could be really cool. But it's kind of like playing Doom in VR a little bit, where it's like, is this going to make me nauseous?
I think
you really have to move around in that game.
If you do this, I think you'll be fine. It's when you were doing this to move around, it was harder.
But I mean, I know, but it's like, I'm just curious how they're going to handle the movement in this, if they're going to have to slow the game down at all. I keep saying this, and maybe this does exist and I don't know it, but I really want them to have a, whether you want to call it an infinite lives mode or a continuous play mode or something like that. Because I love the game. I love that as you get your combo up, the music gets more and more complete and awesome sounding. Yeah. What I don't like about it is the roguelike nature, where it's like you get so far in a level, if you die, that's it. You got to start the whole game over again, or the whole level over again. And it's like I would rather just be able to finish the level and just get a score that was bad, rather than have to start the whole fucking level all over again because I died on the last boss. Anyway,
I'm gonna say they need to find a way to implement bullet time in this game, like Red Dead Redemption bullet time, where you move the same speed but everything else moves slower around you, and instead of doing like the song somehow slows down to match the enemies, so it's like, but it's like. And you can just fucking lock in bullet time. That'd be so fucking rad. I don't know.
It would be cool. I mean, we'll just have to see how they integrate it, because I think that it could be really neat in VR. Especially if the movement is on rails a little bit and they let you focus more on the shooting. I think that would be kind of wise. But we'll just have to see. Because you move around a lot in that game. It's very Doom adjacent in that regard, except it's a rhythm shooter. So, yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, looks cool. All right, let's move on. We got 2 more news points, and then that's going to be it for the show. War Thunder, the World War II, I believe it's mainly World War II, the airplane game. I don't know if you saw this. This is weird, and I think we've got nobody to blame but AI. I'm guessing. But if you didn't see, they have this wallpaper to promote their game, and it's called Seek and Destroy. And there's like a cloud formation in the background. First off, I don't know how internet users figure this shit out, but they superimposed over top of it the debris field from the Challenger explosion, and it matches identically. Identically. It's very weird. And
they made a comment that was like, "Oh, our artist got that from like a content pack, and we just didn't know the context or whatever." And it's like, okay, dude, if it was me, like, why are they even apologizing for this? Like, they should have just ignored this. The War Thunder dev should have just ignored this altogether. I mean, don't get me wrong. The Challenger explosion was a disaster, and obviously it's a tragedy for the people involved and their families and everything like that. But if the one freaking crazy, internet person didn't find this match,
there's nothing offensive about it on the face.
Nobody would have even thought about it. And I guarantee you that the War Thunder devs weren't like, you know what looked awesome? When that space shuttle full of those people fucking exploded and died. Let's take that explosion and use that in our online video game trailer for, I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong.
At that point,
maybe
you just steal an explosion from fucking Top Gun and just superimpose it. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. I mean, I know I'm being a little bit. I guess I'm kind of trusting the War Thunder dev to not be an a-hole, but I think that this is just a coincidence, and I just think it's a
mistake. It's just an accident. It's like I don't know that. I know what you're saying. I don't know. Coincidence. It's not a coincidence because it definitely is what it is. It was used. I don't think intentionally. Is all. I don't think they were oh yeah, like you said, Jake. Let's fucking use that debris field because that looks like the best debris field we've ever seen ever. This has to be on the wallpaper. No, it's just like it was probably some sort of asset or something, and they just plopped it in there. It looks fucking rad in the wallpaper. I mean, if you don't know what the fuck it is, it looks good. It fits right in with the imagery.
I have a hard time believing that like the son of one of the victims of the Challenger explosion sees this Warframe ad and gets like fucking PTSD and dies because, they like, I don't even think that, I mean, maybe people that are really, really familiar with what happened would recognize the shape of that cloud, but it's like in the background with this image of a plane in front of it. Like, it's very, this is just one of these things where it's like, I almost feel like these news articles show up because people spend all of their time on the internet looking for this shit for their like 2 seconds of glory online. And it's like, they're on Reddit being like, look at this crazy thing I found. And then it like goes rampant on the internet for a couple days and then nobody thinks about it ever again. And again, this says nothing about the tragedy of the Challenger explosion. It's not like it's an image of freaking it's not like it's an image of POWs in Auschwitz in a fucking gas chamber in the background of this image. It's like a portion of the cloud that happens to line up with the explosion from the Challenger. So I don't know. I think, and I don't, maybe this isn't that big of a deal, but I just don't know. But the fact that the dev apologized leads me to believe that they maybe think it's a big deal. And if they do, then, by all means, they can apologize for it or whatever. I just
You
don't
never know the
necessary.
gravity of a situation like this. So like you are on your back foot immediately as a developer when someone's like, "Oh, you fucking used the," you're gonna have to be like, "Whoa, hold on, sorry, well, it was a mistake." Right? Like we like they get put on their fucking back foot the second someone starts pointing a fucking finger, so they have to apologize.
Well, I just think that like literally millions of people have played War Thunder, and I guarantee you that if they said nothing, it would not have affected their bottom line at all, and they could have waited like a month. And if they start having like if the feedback starts to like get worse and worse and worse, then maybe they can come out and apologize for it. But like, I'm not saying that it's really that big of a deal that they apologize. I don't like the idea of so much of what we use online nowadays is like stock footage and like AI generated art and stuff like that in public domain stuff that I don't know. I don't like being in this culture where you feel like you have to apologize for everything. It's like, I don't know. I guess it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, it's fine that they apologized. I don't know why I'm being so, dude. I don't know what like who fucking pissed in my Wheaties this afternoon,
Dude, but it would be like
up about everything right now.
it would be like if they intentionally used the debris field because they thought it made sense. And they're like, "Oh, you fucking used the debris field." And they're like, "Oh, sorry, that was a bad call." Then it's like, was it? Or was that your artistic expression? You should never fucking use a debris field for shit like this. Like, right? You shouldn't use an actual tragedy. But we could put that on any different level. Like the Call of Duty shit has like the mass shooting mall thing. And like they made a fucking artistic decision to put that in their fucking game. And people are like, "Oh, you fucking put a mass shooting in your fucking game." You know what I mean? Like, then they're like, "Oh, you're right. That was in bad taste. We're so sorry." They never really said that. They put a fucking disclaimer up and they're like, "Listen, this is going to be, you can skip this fucking level. It's going to be some heavy shit." But like,
You know what
this
honestly
was an
irritates me
accident
more
here.
about it? You know what people should be more irritated about? The fact that the artist at the War Thunder dev couldn't just make a fucking unique explosion cloud. That they went and just took some random ass art asset from the internet. It's like, what are you guys getting paid for? You can't make a fucking explosion cloud?
Let me take it a step further to say whoever the artist was clearly has a good eye for realism. I'm just going to leave it there. So maybe they are earning their fucking money. They found the one fucking thing they shouldn't have put in there because it was real.
Yeah, I don't know.
Fuck it, man.
Yeah.
Life imitates art and vice versa.
The next War Thunder trailer is gonna have like the fucking Twin Towers burning down on the back. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm acting all fired up, but I really couldn't care less about this. I just
can't
think that
imagine. Could you imagine?
it's like a non-news point. I think is what has me more irritated than anything.
Oh, I put it in here to get you rattled. All right. Lastly, Dragon's Dogma 2. We are an hour into the podcast. We're about an hour and 9 minutes into the podcast. Dragon's Dogma 2 has a free trial July 17th, which is also going to be just before the beta for Concord starts. It contains the first 2 hours of the game, and save data will carry over. Again, I'm going to be playing Darkest Dungeon 2. Sorry, guys.
Yeah, it's for the next couple weeks, so I might actually download it and give it a try. Because I am interested in Dragon's Dogma. There's some of the things that I've read about it. I didn't really think that it would be worth it for me to spend full price on it. But if I can play it as a trial, I might give it a go. I don't know. I mean, it's a pretty well-regarded game. I wonder if if they fixed it so that it runs better, because my understanding is that it didn't run very well. But yeah, I don't know. But I tossed this on here because I thought that was kind of cool. Like, I wish more games did this, where it's like, hey,
we believe
this is a
game.
big game,
yeah.
and we believe in it enough that we're just gonna let you play the first 2 hours for free, and then you can carry your save over if you want to buy it. Obviously, you don't want to do this for something like freaking Gone Home, where the game's 2 hours long. But for something like this, where the game's like 50 hours long, then sure. I just don't know if I have it in me to play another 50-hour game between Stellar Blade and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and all this other shit that I've been playing. So, yeah. But I think I might try it out.
Well, if you're interested, that would be the time to do it. Every episode, Jake, we talk about new games that are hitting the PSN, that are coming to PlayStation. And July, let me see. Hold on one second. I got to write this down because I'm trying to be nice to the listeners so you can just queue up what you want to hear about the podcast. July 2nd, Final Fantasy XIV Dawn Trail, PS5, PS4. Hot Blood on PS5, PS4. The First Descendant on PS5, PS4. This game is interesting, The First Descendant. We'll talk more about that in a second. July 4th of July, which is Thursday, is going to be Fate Seeker 2 on PS5, The Legend of Heroes Trails Through Daybreak on PS5, PS4, and Zenless Zone Zero Triple Z on PS5. And July 5th, Bleak Faith Forsaken on PS5. Let's dial back to The First Descendant. This game, I didn't realize that was coming out, and it has me a little nervous that we haven't really seen.
I mean, we got that trailer at the State of Play, which looked great. But this game, dude, the thing is that this game's, I think it's free to play. So there's like literally no.
Wait, it's out now? Yeah.
Is it out now?
Yeah, today's the 2nd. It came out today. Fuck.
Huh. Well, there you go. I mean, it's free to play, so you got nothing to lose by trying it. So, but that also means there's probably going to be some free to play BS in there that you might not want to deal with. However, I think the game looks cool. Whether or not it's actually good remains to be seen. But that's pretty cool that it's coming. It's kind of almost feels like a shadow drop, even though we knew this from the State of Play. It just kind of snuck up on us, I suppose.
There is a developer launch showcase on their website. If you just look it up on Google. This is probably what I'll download tonight. Very cool. I might try that, and I'll probably play it till about the 15th. I probably got
there you go.
Wrong, but I'm stoked on it. Yeah, very cool. All right, well, cool. Well, I don't have anything else for the podcast, thankfully. It's going to be a late night compiling all this, getting uploaded for the listeners, and I'm going to sit here and fantasize about Advanced Hero Quest a little bit more and think about how much ink I'm willing to burn through on my printer to print extra tiles and shit and for the game. I want to get it all fucking rock and roll ready. So when I have my first game with people, everybody's so excited. And the amount of time and effort it takes to prepare a game like this. I actually made these character cards that are pretty sweet. I laminated them. And this way you can use a dry erase marker on them. It's pretty smart for stats.
Yeah, that's dope.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. All right, dude. Well, shit. Do you have anything you'd like to say before we get out of here?
I don't think so. I'm looking forward to the holiday, having a 4-day weekend. I got these dope new motorcycle gloves. I don't know if you can see it.
I can see it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I got these sick new motorcycle gloves. I'm super stoked to go for a ride and try them out. They're by a company called Climb, and they specialize in more like ADV and kind of like kind of more adventure sort of trail kind of riding, but most all of their stuff is street worthy. And so the cool thing about them is that they've got like the gloves that I bought is that they've got full like leather palms and impact protection and stuff that you want on the street, but like the backs are completely breathable like an off-road glove, so they keep your hands nice and
Cool.
nice and
Ventilated.
cool in the summertime. So I'm really excited to try them out because the gloves that I have right now literally have holes in the fingers, which is not very effective for protection if I were to ever fall down on the street.
Dude,
So
I have not been out at all, really, on a bike at all this summer, and it pisses me off.
yeah, we should go for a ride sometime. I haven't been riding on the street almost at all. I mean, it's been a while. It's probably been a month since the last time we went on a ride. And I've been doing most of my riding at the track or off road, and that, I mean, even that's like, I don't know. I haven't been doing a lot recently because of all the rain and everything we've been getting. So,
Yeah. Well, I'd really like to.
but
get
yeah,
back
I
out.
mean, it's nice. Dude, the weekends like this are scary, kind of to go riding on. Because there's so much traffic and travel and fucking around here, especially there's campers everywhere and like people just out with their families and having a good time and drunk
Drinking,
drivers and not paying attention and because of all that you got deer all over the place running around because of traffic and everything. And so yeah, I don't know if I'll actually go for a ride this weekend, or if I do I'll try to do it sometime in like the off hours or something so I can avoid, or like in areas that don't get a lot of traffic. But yeah, I'm excited. The summer's flying by, I got to be honest. But
We're already halfway through the year, yeah.
But 4th of July, I'm excited to have a few days off and just be able to relax.
I will say this real quick before we sign off. I went and saw The Bike Riders at the theater last night.
Oh, did you like it?
Did you watch it?
I have not, but I'm typically like nowadays I don't really care that much for dramas, but I thought it looked really cool.
So I'll tell you a little bit about it.
It's about the Hell's Angels, right?
Not the Hells Angels. No, a different club. But
a different motorcycle gang.
yeah. So the director, first of all, is Jeff Nichols. He is Ben Nichols from Lucero's brother. He also directed a movie called Mud with Matt McConaughey and another movie called Loving, which was critically acclaimed. Jeff Nichols is a director and a writer, and I think he's passionate about what he does in the same way that Ben is about his music. And they do very niche kind of. They both do art, but it's niche. Like it's for certain audiences for the most part. Like a lot of people watched Mud and were like, I watched it and I fucking loved it. I haven't seen Loving. I want to watch that movie. But I watched The Bike Riders and he got a star-studded cast for this. He got a really great fucking cast, and he cast a lot of these guys before they got big. So Austin Butler's in it, the guy who plays Elvis. And he's also in the B-17 series on whatever, Apple TV. Jodie Comer's in it. She's in Killing Eve. She's one of the best actresses of our time, probably. She's fantastic. Norman Reedus has a little spot in it, which is funny. He's a big motorcycle guy, but you see him, and it's funny because he told Jeff apparently, like, hey, a lot of these guys you got in this club are pretty good looking dudes. He goes, can I go the other way? And they're like, sure. So they fucking give him the nastiest fucking teeth and the weirdest fucking shittiest looking beard, and he just looks scraggly and nasty. And he's like, is that fucking Norman Reed? And you're like, yeah, that's him. So he looks fucking badass. The dude who plays Bane is in it. Tom Hardy
Yeah.
is fucking in it. Also, oh God, what's his name? He's in the Glass Onion. Oh man, he's one of the best actors. oh God, I love him. It's Michael Shannon is in it. He's fucking rad. So it's star-studded. So this was written and directed by Jeff Nichols. But what I must say about it is it's not fucking Sons of Anarchy by any stretch. It's not fucking a bunch of like fucking glorified biker shit. It ain't that.
Right.
Which appeals to me. And it's back in the day there was a book that was put out. And it was a photography book by a guy named Danny Lyon. And Danny Lyon was a really great photographer. And he was rolling with this motorcycle club in Chicago. And they weren't called the Vandals, which is what they call them in the show. They were actually called the Outcasts, I believe. They changed the name of the biker club for whatever reason. Probably had to. I don't know. They probably didn't want to get their asses kicked or killed or whatever. But Danny Lyon puts out this photography book, and it came out in like the end of the 60s. And it's all this black and white photography of these motorcycle dudes. And they just look fucking rad. They have these old fucking bikes, obviously from the late 60s. And like he rolled with these guys. And then his pictures are worth more than 1,000 words, right? They say, so like you look at these pictures, there's just so much to them if you're into photography. So what Danny did when he made this book, the majority of the book, it's not a big book. There's just like one page, one big photo, another page, another big photo underneath the name of the biker guys. It'll be like Benny, or it'll just say like fucking Cow. And you're like, what the fuck? This is so interesting. It's like a glimpse into motorcycle fucking culture back then that people didn't have. And at the end of the book, Danny had taken around in real life, this is real, he took around a recorder and he interviewed a lot of these biker guys and just got them fucking talking. And he transcribed interesting parts of his conversations with these people. And at the end of this photography book, you see all the pictures and the names of all the guys and maybe even some of the women. And then you get to the part that you can read. And it tells from their perspective who they are, where they come from, what they're about. But it never really gives a story. It's just like a little vignette on that person. So what Jeff Nichols did was he crafted a story about this motorcycle club. Obviously, you can hindsight and see what happened to these guys, right? Where they ended up, who lived, who died, how they died, what they got into, what their futures held. So he put together this really cool story. And Jodie Comer's character plays one of the wives of one of these guys from the book. Her name's Kathy. And this is where it gets even more. You guys know I'm a big Lucero fan. What gets even crazier? This must have been a book floating around the Nichols house or something, because fucking Ben Nichols wrote a song called Bike Riders. And it's about Kathy meeting fucking Benny and all these people from this fucking book. He made his own fucking song up about this shit. And it came out like 10 years ago. Ben's song with Lucero's song. And his brother the whole time wanted to make a fucking movie about this book. And it's like, wow. Norman Reedus apparently knew about the book. Jeff Nichols apparently saw Norman Reedus, was like, hey, I got a part for you in a movie. Would you want to do it? And I don't think that Norman knew who Jeff was. And he was like, well, what's it about? And he goes, well, it's a motorcycle movie about a motorcycle club based on a book. And Norman apparently was just like, you mean the Danny Lyons book, The Bike Riders? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, I'm fucking in. And then he found out later that it was Jeff Nichols, and like he's done Mud with Matt McConaughey and shit. So like everybody's just in. The story they made is not glamorous. It's not like you're watching it on the edge of your fucking seat. It's just a fucking story about some dudes who started a motorcycle club and what they fucking got into. And it's more so about the character building of all the different people. So don't go into this movie thinking that you're going to be on the edge of your seat watching fucking gunfights and knife fights and like fucking bar fights. It ain't that. it's coming from the perspective of Kathy recounting what it was like rolling with these dudes and about all of them and about the shit they got involved in and like how the club changed over the years. And it spans a time frame. And it's really a love letter, I think, to the reason I would imagine people who really, really like motorcycles start motorcycle clubs to begin with. It's not to cause trouble, not to do this, not to do that. I think these guys all had a passion. They felt like they were outcasts. They all got along with one another. And they started fucking riding together. They all liked the one thing. It's like the one thing. It kind of feels like the punk scene, really, in a weird way. But there's a scene, without spoiling it, where they were talking about the beginning of the club, and they were just doing races and like dirt tracks and shit. And then Tom Hardy's character was like, I'm thinking about starting a club, man, like everybody else has. And the guy's like, why would you want to do that? All those guys do is sit around and talk about motorcycles. And they're like got all their fucking motorcycle gear on. They're walking back to their bikes. And he looks at him and he's like, why wouldn't you just be out here riding motorcycles instead of starting a club talking about motorcycles? And he's just looking at him. He's like, what's the difference, man? Like, let's just fucking start a club. So it's just kind of cool. You should watch it. The acting is some of the best fucking acting I've seen in a movie in a long time. The acting is amazing. The cinematography is amazing. Where it falls short, I think, is like the story, because it's probably not really an interesting story for a lot of people. But I'm like, this is just fucking cool that this movie exists. I'm fucking all in. I think it's rad. I enjoyed it.
Cool.
Yeah. So I suggest you watch it. But
maybe I will.
Yeah, you should. You should watch it. Today is the last day it's in theaters around here, by the way. You might have to wait a little bit.
Sure.
But anyways, let's stop the show. And of course, when the credits roll, Lucero comes on, and it's the Bike Rider song that Ben wrote, which is like full fucking circle awesome. There's a lot of documentary shit and making of the movie shit on YouTube if you want to look into it. A lot of guys lending these old Harleys, these old fucking motorcycles, these chopped out things for the movie, making sure that it's all time period correct, and they're talking about the bikes and stuff. It's really a cool watch. There's a lot of good stuff in there. All right, so that's all I got. This has been episode 333. 333, dude. Good luck. And thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week. So with all of that out of the way, be safe out there. Get your gaming in. Like, P.S. This is awesome, a PlayStation podcast. Pepper Grinder and Pentiment. P.S. This is awesome.